everybody, and welcome to today's iStore Meets session with Rachel Smith. My name is Demi, and I'm just here to do a very quick introduction, and then I'm going to hand over to Rachel. So this is an iStore Meets session, and it is brought to you by Think Ahead. Now, Think Ahead works in partnership with schools to support them in their 21st century teaching and learning journey. We help school practitioners design and implement the best possible education experiences for teachers and students in the most cost-effective and sustainable way possible. I'd like to just take a few moments to share a little bit about who Think Ahead is with you. Okay, so I will put those details up again at the end of today's session. Okay, so at the end of the session, I will also share with you some amazing iPad deals that Think Ahead has got to offer, as well as some incredible upcoming sessions that we bring to you. Now, lastly, before I hand over to Rachel, we would love for you to engage with us in today's session. So say hi in the chat box, tell us where you're joining us from, and then use that if you have any questions throughout the session. We'll try and answer them as quickly as possible, or we will leave some time at the end of today's session to answer all your questions. You can also share more around today's workshop using the hashtag iStoreMeet and stand a chance to win a 1,500 Rand iStore gift card. And then lastly, for those of you interested in hosting your very own iStore Meet session, you can find out more by contacting the team, and that email address is on screen, which I will share with you at the end of the session as well. Okay, so Rachel, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is absolutely incredible to have you here. Rachel is an Apple Distinguished Educator and a foreign languages teacher from the Isle of Man. So without any other hesitation, Rachel, welcome. I hand over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I am really pleased to be with you this morning. It is super early here on the Isle of Man, but this is a first for me. I've never done a parent session before, and I have never been up quite so early to do a session before either. But as Demi said, I'm a languages teacher. I teach at a secondary school that's called St Ninian's High School on the Isle of Man. I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator, and if that doesn't really mean anything to you, we're just a global group of teachers that are passionate about the purposeful use of technology in education, and Apple recognise that we use their technology really well to teach our students. I'm also an Apple Professional Learning Specialist, and that basically means that Apple trained me so that I can give sessions like this. I was fortunate enough to be able to visit South Africa in 2019 and do some work for Think Ahead, and during 2020, when we were all at home, I delivered some online sessions for them for teachers, and they've been very kind and inviting me back today. And I'm really, really delighted to be able to share my favourite Apple product with you, which is the iPad. So this is my home. You may well have heard of us or not, I guess. We're stuck out in the middle of the Irish Sea, and we are famous for the Isle of Man TT course, which hasn't taken place last year and isn't going to take place this year either, but also I think famous for beautiful scenery, and it is a really lovely place to live. Right. Although I'm going to run you through a workflow of how you can use an iPad, really, ultimately, what I'm going to be doing is just scratching the surface of what an iPad can do. And so when we finish this session, you'll have a good idea, hopefully, but it really is just the very, very beginning. Right, this text just in from my friend Martin. We're working on a project together all about mountains, and he's just reminded me that I actually need to get some stuff out to him. And so because I don't want to sort of be disturbed for the next hour or so, the first job that I'm going to do on my iPad is I'm going to make sure that I don't get any of those notifications coming through, and I'm completely focused on my task. So what I can do is I can pull down from the corner of my screen and I can turn on Do Not Disturb, and hopefully you can see this. And you'll see there's like a little moon shape here. I'm hovering over it. When I press it, it means that I'm not going to get any notifications. If I hold on to it, I can set a time for my Do Not Disturb. I'm actually going to turn Do Not Disturb off for the moment, because one of the things that the iPad can do, particularly if you've got younger children, primary school children, is that you can ask Siri to do things for you. So we're going to try this. It may or may not work. I'm going to say, hey Siri, turn on Do Not Disturb.
Okay, Do Not Disturb is now on.
And on my phone, which is what you've just heard, Do Not Disturb is now on. I'm actually going to turn Do Not Disturb. Oops. Let's just go back. I'm going to turn Do Not Disturb on here. I'm going to pop it on for an hour. Right. The next thing that I need to do is I need to have a look at my job list, my tasks for today. So I'm going to drop into reminders. Reminders is here. And again, if you've got very young children, they can ask Siri to open apps for them. And so they would just say, hey, I'm not going to do it because it'll set everybody's phone off, but I'll say, hey, open reminders for me, and it will open reminders. And you can see here that I've made a list of all the things that Martin and I need to do on our project. And here you'll see this one's in bold type. If I tap on that, you'll see that I've nested a few things. So you can nest things in your to-do list. And you can see here, this is my actual to-do list. I can make lists for all sorts of things, and I can share them with all sorts of people. I can also, on this bottom one here, I can, if I just show you, here, this is a reminder with a time. So on Monday, we've got to hand this project in, and this project's got to be handed in at 9:30 a.m. And I can set a time, and what it'll do is it'll pop up a little message on my iPad and show me that I need to get something done. Right, so it looks like one of the things that I need to do on here is I need to gather some photos. So if I pull up my dock, which is this strip at the bottom, and in this strip at the bottom, basically what I have are all my favorite apps, the apps that I use the most. So I'm just going to drop into this, and you'll see that down in my albums, I've created myself an album called Mountains Project. So actually that's all good to go. And if I just drop back into reminders, gather photos, well, we've done that, and we can tick it off our list, and you'll see that it disappears. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to gather some information. We're not making the project right now. I'm just going to send some info to Martin, and then Martin and I are then going to pop this together in a different document. Right, okie doke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an application called Notes. Notes is super versatile. It's here. Oops, oh, where's my little pointer? It's here. Again, I can ask Siri to open notes for me. I can tell Siri to take a note, and they will take a note, and I can dictate into that note, and that's perfect for primary school children. So you can just speak away, and your iPad will type for you, and I'll show you a little bit of that in a moment. Okay, so we're going to open Notes. You can see I use Notes relatively regularly. That's what we're having for dinner. Lovely. Okay, so I've got my note open, and I am going to give myself a title, and that is mountains project. So excuse me for one moment. There we go. This is my mountains project. So we're in split screen, and I'm just going to grab this bit of text here, which tells me all about mountains. And I'm going to highlight that text. I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to actually drag it over here into my mountains document. So I didn't have to do any fancy copying and pasting. I could just drag it over. And Martin will need to know where I got that information from. And so I'm just going to copy that as well. And then I'm going to paste that link over there. And we're actually finished with Safari for the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to just get rid of it. Lovely. So Martin doesn't live on the Isle of Man, and I need to send him some pictures of our mountain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, go into photos, and I'm going to bring up this really rather nice picture of the mountain here on the Isle of Man. And the first thing actually I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to press that little arrow. I'm going to come down and I'm going to make a duplicate of the mountain. And you can see now here I've got two of them. Okay. I'm going to take that one and I'm going to pick up my Apple Pencil. You don't have to use an Apple Pencil to do this. You can use your finger. You can use any sort of stylus of any kind. And I'm going to actually edit this photograph. So I'm going to press edit. And I am then going to press these three dots at the top here, these ones. And you'll see that I have an option, markup. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark up this piece of work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, tap this add button. And you'll see here that there are some options for me. And the first option I'm going to take is this magnifier. And you can see that I can zoom in on the mountain and I can magnify as much of it as I like. So I'll zoom in on the mountain. I'm going to pick up my pencil. I'm going to tap my pen, just check I've got the right thickness. And I'm going to write on my picture. So this mountain is actually called Snaefell. Snaefell Mountain. Draw ourselves a little arrow. That's Snaefell. Okay. I can also do some other things. I can tap and I can add text. If I just move that so you can see it. And I'm going to put tram to the top. So I can add text to my picture and I can add a little arrow. So even if you don't have a pen or a stylus, you can still annotate your drawing. Now, one of the things that they say about, oops, let me get a pen again. One of the things that they say about the Isle of Man is that when you're on top of the mountain, you can see the 7 kingdoms. And we are the only place in the UK from which you can see England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. And the other kingdoms are the Kingdom of the Sea, the Kingdom of Heaven, and apparently the Isle of Man itself. So you need to have a super sunny day to be able to do that. And now my photo is done. Okay, I'm going to press done. My photo is nicely marked up. And so what we'll do is we'll just drop back into notes. What I'm going to do is I am going to try and add my photo to my notes. And I'm going to tap on the camera at the top and I'm going to go choose photo or video. And I'm going to go to albums, my mountains project. And you'll see that this is my marked up photo. I'm going to add it. Okay. And there is my marked up photo in my picture, which is brilliant. Okie doke. So we've got a picture. I've shown you how to mark a picture up. One of the things that we would like to maybe do is we might like to write. Oops. We might like to write on some lines. So I'm going to try and show you that, if we can do that. So yes, we can. I'm going to tap on these 3 dots here. And at the bottom, you'll see that it says lines and grids. I'm going to click on lines and grids, and you'll see that I've got lots and lots of lines and grids options. And I'm just going to tap this lines and grids, and you'll see that on my notes application, it brings up some lines for me. And what that means is just double check I've got a pen on yet. What that means is it means that I can now write on my, I mean, I could write on it before, but now I can write on a line. So if you've got a primary school child and they're practicing their writing, this is a really nice way of doing it. And so I'm going to write, oops, thank you. I hear that. There's another mountain in Iceland called Snæfell. Snæfell, Iceland. There we go. Okay, so this is Snæfell in Iceland, and this is a great picture of Snæfell. So we're going to pick it up and we're going to drag it into our notes like so. And move that out of the way. And this time I'm just going to tap on it when it's brought into notes. And I've got the same things. You'll see that I've got this pen here and I can just touch it and it brings up all the pen tools. And so I can start writing, not with a rubber though. Biggest mountain. I can even draw on it. If I tap on the multicolored thing, I can get some more colors. Oops, I can draw myself a little volcano, like so. Got to remember though, it's pretty much extinct. It's not blasted off just yet. Okay, so we can mark up from within notes as well. And if I finish with handwriting, I can just tap. My keyboard comes back up, and I can start typing again. Okay, so I'm going to type something to Martin. Oops, something I found in the guidebook. Okay, so because I was fortunate enough to come to South Africa, I have a guidebook of all the things that you can do on Table Mountain, but Martin's never been, so he needs this information. So what we're going to do is I'm going to scan. Now bear with me, I have to stand up and clamp down the guidebook, and well, you've all been working from home, you know how it is. So I'm going to go back up to this little 3 dots here, and I am going to go to this icon, scan. Now the light in this room isn't brilliant, but we will try. You can see it's just picked up that picture of the animal. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take a picture. Now I want the whole page, so I'm going to grab these little circles and pull all these circles out like this until we've got it as we want it. Lovely, lovely. Yep, we want to keep that scan and we want to save it. And what we'll find is the scan has gone into my notes. Again, I can tap on it and I can, if I wish, mark it up for, oops, I can mark it up for Martin, should I wish to. Okay, so my scan is in there for him to have a look at, and he can read all the information about Table Mountain. Right. The other thing is, as I said, Martin's never been, so we probably just need to nip into maps and have a look and see if we can find some information about Cape Town and Table Mountain. So I'm just going to get rid of all of that, and I'm going to search my iPad for maps. It's actually there because obviously I've been rehearsing myself, so but it will find the application very quickly for me, and it means that I don't have to search through all of this nonsense. I can just pull down and it'll find it for me. Lovely. So the first thing it does is it shows you where you are. I'm here, great, but that's not what we want. We want to go to Cape Town. Oops, we want to go to Cape Town. Cape Town. Super. So this is Cape Town. Here we are, and I can zoom in. There's Table Mountain National Park. I can twizzle it around. Lovely. I can press I. I can change the way that this map looks. I can pop it into satellite, which is kind of useful. So we're getting a good idea of what the mountain looks like so. Currently we're in 3D. I can switch it to 2D. There we go. Looks more like 3D to me, but there we are. I was in 2D and this is now 3D. So we're getting a really nice idea of what Table Mountain looks like. And actually, I'm just going to get rid of all that. I think Martin might quite like that. So I'm going to screenshot that. There's my screenshot. Okay. And just like before, I can edit this so Martin can see what I mean. So we can go Table Mountain. Okay. Like a table. Yeah, lovely. I can press done and it'll save to my photos, and we can add that to our document in a minute. Now, if I just pull down on here, hopefully, I might need to go back into Cape Town. Here we go. There we go. So one of the things that is possible to do in some cities in the world is a thing called a flyover. And this is really cool for geography projects, because what it means is that you can have a really, really good look at the places that you're investigating. So I'm just going to press flyover. I'm going to see if it works. Because I'm on Zoom and I'm showing you. So you can see that we zoom over, fly over different little bits of Cape Town, so Greenpoint Stadium. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, it goes on for quite a while. And then it'll zoom out and it'll take us to another point of interest within Cape Town. And I think Martin might quite like this because it'll give him a really good idea of what Cape Town is like. It'll give him the perfect idea. And so what I can actually do, and I can't actually show you, is that I can make a screen recording of this. I can't show you because I use screen recording to show you my iPad through Zoom. But if I just stop this tour, pause tour, if I pull down from the corner of my screen, you'll see here, there's a little red dot. And that's how you're managing to see my screen at the minute through Zoom. But ordinarily, if I pressed that, it would record everything on my screen, and I can record it with or without sound. And I have actually done that, and I've done it previous to the session today, and I've saved it in photos. And so I can add those things to my notes for Martin. So we'll just come out of maps and we'll go back to our notes project here. And we've got a few things that we need to add. So we'll go to our camera again. We're going to choose a photo or a video. I'm going to go into albums. Here's my mountains project. And so I'm going to add my video that I previously made. There you go. So you'll see the videos in. And then I'm just going to put myself a little bit of space. I'm going to go to take photo or video. No, I'm not going to go into choose. You add some more information. I could say things like the Victorian tram up Snaefell to the new cable car in Cape Town. Give him a suggestion of something we could compare in our project. Well, to me, that looks like I've made some significant efforts on my notes for Martin. And so what I'm now going to do is I'm actually now going to share it with him. So I am going to press my little three buttons, and I am going to share a note. And I'm going to share this note via messages. I'm going to send it to Martin. I'm going to pop in a little message. Hi, Martin. Notes for mountain project attached. and I'm going to send it to him. There we go. And it's gone. And so Martin now has my notes that I've just made in front of you guys, and he can add to those notes, or he can take those notes off and put them into another document. So once I've got Martin's notes, what we'll then do is we'll take these notes, because you remember up here, we basically just copied and pasted. And obviously, as a teacher, I wouldn't recommend that that's what students do. But when they're just gathering information, it's a really great way of bringing everything together, and then you can turn it into something that is your own. So we've gathered all our notes, and then what we'll do is we'll use Pages, which is another application that's standard to the iPad. And if I just go into the documents, I can just show you when I create a new document. You'll see that when I create a new document, there are all these templates to choose from. And what I've done here, excuse me, is I have used reports. And I'll open the school report so you can see what it looks like. And you'll see when I show you mine and Martin's. This is a school report, and it's completely editable. You'll see that here, these photos have little plus buttons in them. And if I press a plus, I can choose a photo or video. And I can pick, I don't know, we'll pick Tim Waltell just because it happens to be there. And it just drags it in. And you can see how easy it is to produce a document that looks utterly beautiful and you can hand in at school. And I'll just show you the one that Martin and I have done. So you can see that it's already got some similarities. I've kept some of the font the same, but I've definitely changed the colour of the font. You'll see that I've added some photos. You can see that in Pages I can also handwrite. You'll notice that here, this is a recording, and I can record my voice in Pages, which is perfect because if you've got primary school children, they don't need to be able to type to show their knowledge. They can actually speak and show their knowledge. And so even from somebody who's very, very young in what we would call reception, so like a 4-year-old can still explain what they're doing via an audio button. And we could press the audio button and listen to me. I daren't press it because I don't know what I said, and I might have just been going test, test, test. So anyway, I have put an audio button in there. You can see we've continued down. This is my notes from the National Geographic website. You'll see that this word is underlined, and if we click on that, it would take us out to that National Geographic website so that we can show where we got our information from. You'll see that I can add a little bit of fun. I can put some emojis into my document. Again, I've got an audio note. This is me talking about the 7 kingdoms. So I popped a map in, a little bit about Robben Island. Hope I pronounced that correctly, and so on and so forth. And we can put video in there. I don't think I have put any video in this one just yet. Nope, I don't think so. You can drop video into Pages. You can make a video, so you can have your face showing, and you can pop that into Pages. Again, really ideal for young students. Also, you can get the iPad to dictate. You can dictate into the iPad and it'll type for you, just like I was doing in notes a little bit earlier, but we know that that runs slowly, so I won't show that again. Right, so my project's complete, and I'm going to do something kind of cool. I'm not going to do it for real, or maybe I should. I can say, hey, and then our friend Siri, and I can ask Siri to play me something I like, and it would open music, and it would select the sorts of music that it knows that I like to listen to. And if as a parent you're thinking, crikey, I thought they were doing some work upstairs, like all I can hear now is like their favourite tunes blasting out of the bedroom. Well, don't worry, because what we can actually do is we can go and we can take a quick check of what our kids are doing on their iPads. Now, this is my daughter's, it's not today's. It's last week's when we were at home doing some home learning. And I don't want to show you live because I feel like it's not really fair on her. So I've taken some screenshots so that I can show you. So you'll see here that this is called screen time, and it's inbuilt into all the iPads and iPhones, and it means that you can keep an eye on what your kids are doing on their iPad. There's lots of things you can do. You'll see here that Beatrice has a downtime from 9 They're from 8 at night till 7 in the morning. So at 8 at night, she can't use this iPad anymore. Okay, and she can't use it again until 7 a.m. Okay, if, for example, she was doing some homework a bit late at night, then she could request extra time off me, but that's great because I can see exactly what she's wanting that extra time for. So she has to request for a specific app. And I can give her 15 minutes or an hour, I think. I don't think I can do half an hour. And so I can send her a specific amount of time if she's gone beyond her downtime. I can set time limits for some apps. I think I might have that on the next screen. No, I don't. I can set some time limits for specific apps. So for example, I have a limit on how much Netflix she can watch. She's a bit of a Netflix fiend. I have a time limit on how much time she can use on Snapchat so that she doesn't spend all of her life in the rabbit hole that is social media. And also I do have some always allowed for my kids. So both kids I always allow messages just in case we need to get in touch with them or they need to get in touch with us late at night. And I also allow things like podcasts because I don't really have a massive issue with them listening to something rather than staring at a screen all the time. And here I can just, this is the content and privacy restrictions. So you can restrict the sort of the age of the apps that they can request for. So, you know, you can, it's just so that they're linked to age appropriate apps, which is brilliant. Okay. I can also see how much time she spent on various things. So, oops, sorry. I'm trying to get my button. So you can see that she had 2 hours on Netflix, an hour and a half on social media. You can see that she spent 6 hours and 10 minutes on educational apps, 8 hours and 10 minutes on productivity. This is per week. Oops, daisy. This is per week, and so on and so forth. And these little graphs give you information about the day. And you'll, because it's a screenshot, you can't see completely, but if you look down here, it'll tell you how much time they've spent on certain things per week. Like this, these are our most used apps. I knew Netflix would be up there, but I'm kind of pleased that Google Classroom's there at 5 hours and 10 minutes. It means she's actually done some work, and my maths as well. Interestingly, on Safari, it'll tell you what the website is that they've been going to. This is a daily average. Good to see that it's down 31% from last week. More further notifications, your daily average again. This is pickups, I think, notifications, yeah. So how many notifications do they get? You can click on these little arrows, it gives you a little bit more information. And pretty much that is that. That's a brief run through of using an iPad to create some kind of workflow and share information with another person, which is probably one of the main ways that your kids might be using an iPad. And as I said to you right at the very beginning, we've really only just scratched the surface of what an iPad can do. Demi, over to you, I think. Do we have any questions?
Okay, so thank you, Rachel. Really a lot of information being shared with us and some very useful and helpful tips for parents, especially now when students are working on projects and need to find a nice way to share their information. So I'm just going to have a look at the chat box. So far, I think we're okay, but I will give everybody a couple of minutes. If you do have any questions, just pop them there in the chat box while you're busy typing that out. Like I mentioned at the beginning, Think Ahead does have some incredible iPad offers for parents. If you'd like to find out more about these offers, you can scan that QR code that's on your screen, or you can contact us using parents@thinkahead.co.za. Okay, Rachel, just a question coming in. If you could, I'll give you a moment in a while to just show how to display split screen or just run through that. I also do have a video that I will put a link in the chat box so that parents can go and have a look at how a split screen works. Then just a last one, we do have our Saturday mornings, our kids code hours, really some incredible sessions running through iStore Meets. So please visit that website, book for these upcoming kids code sessions. And then there we go. That's that last slide. You can contact us directly at inquiries@thinkahead.co.za or visit our website, or to find out more or book more around workshops for iStore Meets, there is the iStore Meets website. So Rachel, I'm going to give you a moment if you'd like to show split screen, and we fingers crossed that it's going to work.
Fingers crossed.
And then see if there's any other questions. I'll let you know of that. So I'm going to stop for a minute. I'll put that last slide up again, and over to you to show split screen.
Okay, so split screen is relatively easy. I'm just going to, if we just go back into my notes app. So this is me in notes, and if I slide up from the bottom, this is something called the doc, and in the doc are all the applications that we use the most. I can't really show you when the doc comes back up again. Well, there we go. And I move this, you'll see that there's a line, and everything to the right of the line are the most recently used apps. Whoops, daisy, there we go. Open notes, slide up. Super. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this into split screen, and hopefully it's going to work. I hold my finger on Safari tab. You know, when you want it to work, it never does. And I'm going to gently drag it to one side, like so. And if I just pop in something like the BBC News, like so. Lovely. And there we have split screen. Now, what that means is it means that kids can work on don't have to faff about having two apps open, like keep flicking between two apps all the time. So bringing up the dark, flicking between this, bringing up the dark, flicking between that. They can have a good read here of the news. Okay, so we can have a little read about what Joe Biden's saying. Okay, we can move our slider to another side, and we can go back into our document and start typing without interruption. You can come back. Okay, we can go to another website if we wanted to. We can go and look at the weather on the Isle of Man if we wish. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, it's not the greatest of days, as you can see. And we can slide back again and go back into our document completely uninterrupted. Actually, one of the things that you can do, which I really love, is you can, I might be able to show you, is you can open a keynote, which I've not looked at today because we just don't have time. But I can actually open a second keynote. If I just open keynote here, and I find myself something that you could open. And this is a little game I play in French, but you could have two documents of the same app open. And so you can take stuff from one document and pop it into the other document really, really easily, rather than having to constantly open and have about 1 million taps before you can copy and paste stuff over. And so when I showed you how Martin and I made our pages document, what would have happened is we would have had pages open on this side and notes open on this side. And let's just get a school report up. Oops. I don't want my thing there. There we go. And we can just take text from here and pop it straight into there. And so we can easily build our lovely project from our notes, and we don't, and there's no messing about really. It just makes it nice and easy. This is our notes on this side. This is our working document on this side. We can just drag and drop over, and it just makes that workflow that much easier for children to deal with. They don't have lots and lots of taps like you might have in many other computing applications where you have to have documents open and clicking through various windows and this, that, and the other. That just doesn't exist when you have a split screen. So hopefully I managed to demonstrate that, Demi. That maybe worked most successfully.
Absolutely. So Rachel, just two more questions popping up. One question asks, what happens when you've sent the info to somebody else, to Martin in this case, and you want to store and delete the photos? Do they disappear?
When I want to store and delete the photos that I send to Martin, when Martin takes the photos, no, they're shared. So he can just take those photos out and pop them into his own photo album, and he's good. He has them because I've given him permission effectively to have those photographs. When he opens that document, he sees a document like I see the document. And what you see is like a little sharing symbol in the top. You see who's got, let me just share. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes, you are.
I am, aren't I? Sorry, I forgot. You'll see here, there's this little person with a tick, and that tells me that I've shared this document with someone, and it will tell me who I've shared it with. So he's been invited to share it. He hasn't opened it yet, but that's the person who I'm sharing with. I can add more people to that. And because I'm the owner, I can say, right, okay, Martin, you can no longer see this document anymore, and that will prevent him from having access to that document.
Fantastic. And then one more question coming through. Would you recommend children in primary schools having an Apple Pencil with their iPads?
Oh, that's a tricky one. That is a really tricky one. I have to say that really does depend on budget. That depends on your budget. But what I'll tell you why I really like my Apple Pencil, and that is, if I can just show you, this is going to be hilarious. So look, there you go. Okay. Oh, I don't know what happened there. It's got a very hard tip as an Apple Pencil, and so it makes it very, very accurate. And actually, when you tap on the screen, you can open your apps with it. But if they were handwriting a lot and they were using the lines like I showed you on notes, this makes handwriting really, really easy. And it is really like using a pencil. It's like using a pen. It's very hard to explain how easily this pencil flows across the page. You would not believe you were using something electronic. So would I recommend it? Yeah, actually, I probably would, to be fair. I probably would, because, you know, it's such a useful piece of kit. And mine just sits on top of my iPad, and I just pick it up and I use it all the time when I'm teaching. So just because of that very hard tip, most styluses have got like a squishy tip, and it means that the kids actually find it quite hard to form a letter. So if it was all about forming letters and getting your handwriting nice and practicing writing with a letter with pen, then definitely the iPad Pencil is probably your best option.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I must say, from my side, having used my Apple Pencil, it really does make the world of difference than using those styluses with the soft tip. So yeah, if your budget does allow for it, like you said, it is a great addition to using your devices. Okay, and I think that's it. I don't see any other questions. I'm just going to pop up that last slide with information. Rachel, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. I know it's an early morning there for you, but it really has been absolutely incredible just to share ideas and get that feedback and see what's out there and how we can make the most of these devices and use them for education and for learning in the nicest and safest way possible. So Rachel.
And I think it's, sorry to interrupt you, Demi, I think it's really interesting in these times where sometimes you might be in school and sometimes you won't be in school. And so you have a device that goes with you. And so you know that your kids have got a safe device that's well regulated. Privacy is really important to Apple. You know that what they learn in school is totally adaptable to a home learning environment. you can see how flexible the device can be. Like I said, I just scratched the surface of what this thing can do. It's amazing, amazing. Yeah, now more than ever, we need well thought out educational devices like iPad, really.
Absolutely. So just for the questions on the iPads that's currently, or the pencil offerings that we do have, please scan that QR code on screen. You can email us, parents@thinkahead.co.za, for more information, and we will share. We do have incredible offers that combine iPads and pencils and covers, and really there's a bundle out there for everybody. So scan that QR code or contact us and we will share all of this with you. For the question, how can we learn more about using the devices? iStore Meets is an incredible program. We do have a range of sessions from the iPad basics right through to iPads for parents and the screen time features and things like that. So please check out the iStore website. If there's something specific that you would like to know about, you can contact us, inquiries@thinkahead.co.za, and we'll gladly set up some time to take you through anything in particular you'd like to know. Okay, I will hang around for a couple of moments if there are any other questions. But Rachel, again, a very big thank you. We do appreciate your time and your insight into using these devices. So thank you, everybody. And we hope you have a wonderful Saturday and enjoy the rest of the weekend.